I believe that if we are honest with ourselves, that the most fascinating problem in the world is who am I? What do you mean? What do you feel when you say the word I myself?
I wanna fly the train! I don't give a fuck! Oh, jeez! Hey, what's going on?
¿Qué piensas sentar fora? Então não fica minha sorte é sempre grande.
Oh, jeez! Hey, what's going on? I don't give a fuck! Oh, jeez! Hey, what's going on? You can't get out of this! Oh, jeez! What's going on?
I think that I am familiar with the fact that you are going to ignore this particular problem until it swings up and bites you on the ass.
Psych, just kidding. My new catchphrase is, I don't give a fuck!
It's asking a lot to believe that the problem is going to fix itself.
Guess what, bitch?
Our technology and our numbers have both reached a state where inadvertently we can pose a danger to the global environment, especially through the atmosphere.
The whales have a 15-foot penis. Are you a pervert or something? Okay.
Now, nobody pretends we understand everything about the global climate.
I didn't cut out. You heard me. Google it yourself.
There are feedbacks, some of which you warm the Earth a little bit, and the tendency will be to further increase the temperature, so-called positive feedback.
What I'm saying is the planet's on fucking fire.
We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard. Because that goal will serve to organize and measure the best of our energies and skills. Because that challenge is one that we're willing to accept, one we are unwilling to postpone, and one we intend to win.
What's up, heathens? How ya doing? Tonight, we have a Muslim that is going to be telling us how atheism is both a myth and an illusion. The title of the video was illusion, but then he says a myth on the thumbnail. I'm not exactly sure. I feel like he's a little confused as to the difference between myth and illusion, maybe. But in any case, he's going to be telling us how atheism is dumb. And so we're going to be going into that tonight. We are also going to be talking about some shit that I've learned this week, as well as responding to some comments. I don't have a good shitty ass science for tonight, so all of you that were hoping Bro Cephas was going to join up, we're not going to have him tonight. We're just going to go right from the comments directly into the video response tonight. So I hope you guys are ready for a good show. I know that I am, and I guess I will see you guys after this intro. Shoot, wait, hold on. I fucked it up. Technical problems with GE already. All right, so first, before we get into the actual response and everything, we have Today I Learned. I know, isn't it? I am the best singer ever. I don't know if you guys know this, but I am. Okay? All right. So, first on today, I learned that Coca-Cola makes most of its money from selling syrup to companies that manufacture and distribute their drinks, and as a result, it has a group dedicated to sending resources and experts to help any that are in financial trouble. This helps avoid image and logistical problems for the brand. It's kind of interesting how they make most of their money from just selling the syrup and not actually like selling the actual soda, that goes out. It kind of makes sense considering that, all of the restaurants and everything like that, all they have to do is buy the syrup and then buy the carbonated water and whatever kind of mixes elsewhere to mix with the syrup. And then there's your fountain drinks. So it kind of makes sense, I guess. But anyways, I found that pretty interesting this week. If I can get to there we go. Got to select the right source. Next in today, I learned that a first-of-a-kind global survey shows that the initial phase of the COVID-19 lockdown dramatically altered our personal habits. Overall, healthy eating increased because we ate out less frequently, and however, we snacked more, we got less exercise, and we went to bed later and slept more poorly. I can attest to this. Let's see. Uhan Roderick had a super chat that says, "Are bleeding ears a pre-existing condition?" Just kidding. Are they? According to KC, they are a pre-existing condition like just about everything else. If you guys don't know, the super chats as well as memberships here, a portion of those proceeds that we get from that portion of the profit, we donate to a certain charity every month. This month it is IAA. always want to make sure I get that right. It is IAA. We're going to be donating to the IAA this month to help with their general fund. So next month we have Christmas presents for foster children. So be looking out for that. Yeah. And then finally on today, I learned that in 1999, 40 million people lost power in the Philippines, igniting fears of a possible military coup, only to find out that the cooling pipes of one power grid had sucked up 50 dump trucks worth of jellyfish, which caused an outage. That's a lot of dump trucks, but also we're not the only. Well, I don't know. This I will say, measuring it by the dump truck load is, I guess, kind of odd instead of how much that would actually be. It's a lot like measuring a pothole and the number of washers. This is the most American way to relay the amount of jellyfish that was sucked up in a cooling pipe. In case you're wondering tonight, I have tea. It's Milo's tea and Evan Williams peach whiskey. So it's very alcoholic peach tea. Is this another half and half, honey? Another half and half for tonight. Half tea, half whiskey. So, I mean, half of this is whiskey. Anyways, let's get on into the comments, shall we? We got a few comments this week to kind of discuss. Ooh, this is kind of a big one. This guy was not happy with me. Mainly just because I'm an atheist and I'm an engineer, and apparently that makes me an idiot. He does have a check mark. That's the interesting part. So this is God Rules here on YouTube. He says, "Dude, come on. You're an engineer? I am a mechanical engineer. Went to MTU. Bro, you are saying there is process that creates you called evolution? Where is the evidence of such a thing?" Okay, well, it's not that it's not that evolution created me, right? That there's a process called evolution that explains how biological organisms on this planet change over a certain amount of time and how they adapt to their environment. That's what evolution is. I don't think that me coming into existence is evolution. I feel like you have a disconnect there in what you think evolution is. See, the big difference between me and him is I'm not going to question whether or not he's an engineer. Microevolution is factual, but that has to do with variations within a certain field of parameters. Well, no, see, I don't really like macro. In terms of discussing whether or not evolution happened, macro does not matter. Those particular distinctions matter in a certain context. That's not this context. Microevolution would be adaptation, is basically what he's talking about here. But adaptation over long periods of time results in the change in species that we see on the Earth. It can definitely change an organism, or rather a population of organisms, to be something that we would recognize as completely different. The one thing that I like to go to, that everybody knows that I love to point out, is how whales evolved. Because whales went from a land quadruped and turned into these massive creatures that dwell in our oceans. And it not only happened to them, but also dolphins are a result of this too. Sorry, I need more whiskey. It is. So, I mean, to use microevolution here in this particular context just further reinforces the fact that you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I'm not going to sit here and claim to be an expert, but I know enough to know that you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Rocks don't become living creatures, and moss don't become whales. Well, no shit. Have you ever heard of the law of monophyly, dumbass? Macroevolution was never proven. Oh, well, that's just fucking dumb. And his motorcycle analogy is spot on. No, it's not. Shock of God's motorcycle analogy is never spot on, okay? For one thing, we don't have natural processes to explain why a motorcycle could come into existence. That's the big difference between a motorcycle and a living fucking organism. It has nothing to do with God. It has to do with the obvious fact you were designed by someone or something with intelligence. To say otherwise is just insanity. No, it's not. It's not insanity. The reason why it's not insanity is because we can explain it with science. We can explain the natural processes that go into shaping a group of organisms from one form into a completely different form. So I totally reject your whole idea that we were designed by some intelligent creator. That's just dumb as fuck. Hold on. I wonder. Properties. I was wondering why my my notifications weren't sounding off. Yeah, I know. Uhan Roderick, totally not gonna make a "you're an engineer" joke, I promise. This dude is one step away from elephants and pine trees. Oh, definitely. This guy right here says, "Look at the trees!" all the fucking time, I'm sure. Get this selected. Let's go to comment number 2 for tonight. This one was particularly confusing. You fucking stalked me clear into September just to call me sweetie and fleeced. Get alive! Alright, Karen. I mean, Cynthia. Sorry, your whole fucking attitude kind of resembles what we would classify as a Karen now. So that's why you fooled me. But in any case, I don't know who the fuck you are. I haven't stalked you at all. I don't know like why you commented on this old ass video from like 3 years ago to claim that I was like stalking you or some shit. That doesn't make sense. I don't know. Let's see. Let me let's look up Urban Dictionary fleeced. Let's see, fleeced. Being cheated out of belongings. I don't know. But to be stolen from. Fleeced, ugly, fucked up in the face. I don't know. Also, it means groomed pubic hair. See, bush beaver. No, I don't think that's the correct one. I didn't steal shit from you, ma'am. Please, this is a Wendy's. No, it's not a Wendy's. Oh shit, honey, you best not let that Wendy bitch hear you. In case you guys couldn't hear, KC said that she makes better food than the Wendy's bitch. All right, so this is Resurrected Eyes, which he actually name dropped me in one of his videos, and basically called me a coward. So I don't know what he hopes to gain out of that, but I screen capped this a while ago, so I just saw it in my screen caps. He said, "You deny 4 gospels, yet those are earliest accounts. So why pretend you want evidence?" So the 4 gospels are not the earliest accounts. In case this dipshit happens to watch this video for whatever fucking reason. So the 4 gospels, they started being written in the 70s. We have Paul that was writing in the 50s. So the 4 gospels are in fact not the earliest accounts. They actually comprise the latest accounts of it. Also, you've only got 1 gospel really, because that 1 gospel informed all the other gospels. Mark is the original one. If you want to get back to what was originally thought about Jesus, Mark would be the best representation. Everybody else just copied off Mark. So instead of 4, you've really got 1 there. So good going there, buddy. Maybe you can bitch enough on YouTube, and you'll have more than a few subscribers. That's mean. That was mean. I apologize. I lost myself there. All right, well, that's it for the comments tonight. Are you guys ready to get into the response? I know that I am. Oh, yeah, you can't wait there, honey? Guys, she's so excited that she cannot hide it. All right, so this is Imran Hussein Epistemix, which I think, let me actually get the video in the source video tag, because I always want to make sure that the Skeptic Mafia has the jump on the video before we actually review it. So I've updated that. If you want to get the actual source video, you'll have to refresh and shit. So this is Imran, and he is going to be telling us exactly how atheism is an illusion or a myth or something like that. I'm not exactly sure, but we're going to figure it out here in a minute. Let me make sure that I got my sound correct. Yep. Okay.
The other day I put out a video on my channel where, I question some atheists in regards to their belief in atheism, or that they claim that there is no God, there is no creator. And I asked them, well, what is the evidence that you have, or what reasons you have to deny that there is a creator? And in response to this, well, they had nothing much to say. And this is something very common. I mean, I've spoken to many atheists over the years, and I've asked them this very question. And when it comes to, their reasons for believing that there is no God, there is no creator, there isn't any. There are no underlying, real, substantial, solid reasons for this.
I disagree. I have a lot of reasons, but primarily they're pretty much all lumped in under there's no evidence for him. It's not that Christians don't think that they have evidence, because Christians definitely do think they have evidence, or rather, in this particular instance, Muslims, they do think that they have evidence. What I specifically mean, to be a bit more explicit and remove the nuance, is that the evidence that they provide to support the conclusion that their particular definition of God exists does not actually support their conclusion that their particular God exists. All of the evidence that they can provide just really is poor, and like I said, does not support their conclusion. So you want to bring up like the cosmological argument. Well, that's not sufficient enough to prove, to me at least, that a God exists. There's a lot of gaps that happen in the cosmological argument that I was going to say Christians, but religious people in general use to leap across those gaps, right? They leap across them to come to their conclusion, basically meaning that they don't have they don't have any supporting information to get them from, like as far as the cosmological argument goes, they have to make the leap from the universe began to exist to God started the universe, right? They don't have anything in between there to actually support that, so they have to make a logical leap to that conclusion. I've gotten a lot of super chats. I need to go over them real quick. Jesse Shodel says, if we were designed, the designer seriously messed up. I agree. That's also one of the pieces of evidence, I guess, for a creator, is this idea that we're designed, or this earth is designed, or this universe was designed in some kind of way. They have to make the logical leap from it looks designed to it is designed and an intelligence designed it. There's a huge gap there that doesn't have any kind of supporting information. Jesse Shodel again says, if atheism is a myth, does that make us mythological figures? Can I be dataless? That guy was hardcore. No, I mean, I think that what he means is that there really is no atheism. Not that atheists are a myth, just that atheism is mythical in some way. I'm not sure. Mike Mick says, my religion has a book, yours doesn't. Fallacy. Pretty much. Then we got Quentin Van Booven coming in, saying, here's my penance for missing like 2 months of live streams. Also, if we were designed, I want to speak to the designer as I have some complaints. I do too. What the fuck is up with my goddamn pancreas, huh? My pancreas got fucked up. All right? So I don't want to hear this shit about a designer. If he really was a perfect designer, this shit wouldn't be broke right now. But to wrap all this back up to the video here, the evidence that he has to support his idea that a God exists doesn't have any supporting evidence and actually does not prove his conclusion. I already did, Quentin.
Substantial, solid reasons for this. So I wanted to do a quick video and share a little diagram which I feel will really clarify what's going on here, right? Now, without further ado, I want you to pay attention to this diagram. And I imagine for a second, the outer square contains all of the knowledge that exists. Everything that there is to know, it is contained within this square in existence. The inner square represents more specifically the material physical world, and the outer sphere represents what's beyond it, right?
So my first question is, how do you know that there's anything outside of this physical world? What evidence do you have to support the idea that there is something outside of this physical world? I would love to know what you think supports that idea. Because as of right now, you're just kind of assuming that exists. You're not actually providing anything that would suggest that there's anything exterior to the physical material world. Yeah, Elizabeth Richardson. Uh-oh, is GE going full? I want to speak to your manager on God about his pancreas. I do want to speak to the manager. Fuck! We got Michael Thole, who sent a super chat saying, do you think that Christians feel somehow threatened by atheist beliefs? Having been a Christian before, I see how that could be the case. Well, I think that maybe some people are. I definitely wouldn't classify all of them as being that way. I think that Christians, on some level, either subconsciously or whatnot, some of them definitely do feel threatened by this idea that there's no creator. I mean, I feel that is kind of shown whenever they, talk about, well, if God didn't exist, then I would just go around murdering everybody. And, like, when they talk about, as far as morality being connected to God, I think whenever somebody brings that up as a reason why we don't just go out and murder people. Well, I agree. That person that asked about why, how we could even justify something horrible like rape being wrong. Yeah, grape. I said grape, Google, okay? I said grapes. Grapes are wrong and bad. Fuck grapes. Red and green grapes. All of the grapes. Fuck them. We got Jesse Shodel, who says, what would it even mean for something to exist outside the physical world? Well, my guess is that he's talking about the supernatural realm, which... oddly enough, I had a dream last night that I was a ghost and I was able to actually speak to people in the real world, which is more than what ghosts can do now. If you think about it, whenever you see these ghost shows, there's all of these ghosts are like from the 15th or 16th century or something like that. Can you just imagine on down the line when you got a ghost that's talking about, fucking fetch and goddamn fleecing it out. Dink and flicka. I wonder if anybody gets that reference. You don't get the reference? It's from The Office. Daryl teaches Michael some choice urban language. One of them is dink and flicka. They're fake. Sean J says, here's a fiver, buy some grapes. Gotta get them grapes. Anyways. All right. So yeah, he basically thinks that he thinks that there's a supernatural realm. My guess is that he's just going to assume this, because I mean, for one thing, you can't really know how much knowledge we actually have, right? We're never going to know if we have all of the knowledge that could possibly exist. That's just not a position we'll ever actually be able to know.
Contain the totality of knowledge that exists. Now, any atheist, the most intelligent of atheists, how much would you say they know? How much would they claim that they know of all the knowledge that is out there? Now,
on this particular point, there's a well-documented record that I don't know half the shit I think I know. All you gotta do is watch like my flat Earth videos. Like there's some flat Earth videos I've had to go back and take shit out because I'm like, why the fuck did I even say that? That's not even correct. So definitely, how much do I know about this universe? Next to fucking nil. As far as relative to all the possible knowledge that could exist, I don't fucking know, but I can guarantee you it's very, very small. Like I know enough to know that I know very little, right? Second of all, if it's relative to our current amount of knowledge that we have, I mean, I'm not exactly dumb, but I'm definitely far from like one of the smartest motherfuckers out there. I can basically navigate my apartment. and I can navigate my job, and that's about it. So, I mean, I've never branded myself as a smart motherfucker. I just look shit up and I research shit a little bit too much. I am smart. Thank you, honey. I appreciate that so much.
All the knowledge that is out there. Now you can argue maybe, hypothetically speaking, this much, right? That's what they know. That's how much knowledge they have. The most intelligent of these atheists. Okay, say you may want to say a little bit more, a little bit less, whatever the case is. Now, if that...
Here's an interesting question for this part. How do you fucking know this? Like, how do you even know enough to know that, like, oh, this little circle right here represents a... Unless you're just being really vague and you don't really know and you're just being sort of abstract about how much knowledge there is or whatnot. But it just kind of seems like you're working in vaguely definite terms here as far as, like, how much knowledge we have, how much of the supernatural exists, and then, of course, how much the smartest atheist out there exists, or how much the smartest atheist knows. So I don't know. I sincerely doubt that it's that big of a circle, but then again, I don't even know how much knowledge there is in order to gauge it. But if he's just talking vaguely, then I can work with that. Mike Mick says, outside of reality, but where is the evidence? Nobody knows where the evidence is because it doesn't fucking exist. More than likely. Cadence says he's just circling his straw man and coloring it in so we can see it clearly. Obviously, that's what's happening. Thank you so much there, Cadence. This is obviously correct. That, like, here's the straw man, guys. It's right. Hold on. Let me see if I can. It's right there. Right there's the straw man. Yeah, that would be nice. I think it fucked with my green screen, but, 8 months.
Now, if that's all they know, and there's all of this still out there to be known, then how can they make that positive claim that there is no God for a surety? How could they say this?
Well, so you're kind of equivocating things here at this point. For one thing, there are atheists out there that say they are Gnostic about God in general, that this God cannot exist or does not exist. And they can try to defend that if they want to. I'm not so certain. I don't know whether or not a God exists, but I don't believe one to exist. It's a very sort of nuanced position to have there, because while I don't claim that God definitely does not exist, I just claim not to believe in a God. I don't believe one to exist, but that does not necessarily represent what I claim to know about God. These are two different kind of claims. One is a belief claim. The other is a knowledge claim. And what you're doing is you're kind of conflating these two areas. And I feel like being a bit more specific on these areas can always help somebody out. Now, whether that's whether that means you want to go with something like the Dawkins scale, which kind of rates things on a scale from like a hard theist to a strong atheist and all this other stuff, or what I like to do is I actually like to combine the terms agnostic atheist, because agnostic really just talks about what you know about something, right? It's about knowledge. How much knowledge do you have? So when I say I'm agnostic about God, I'm agnostic to the proposition that God exists on the whole. Like, I don't know whether or not a God exists. I don't think that we'll really ever be able to answer that question. So I don't know as to whether or not one exists. But when we shift over to beliefs, like, what do you believe? Well, I don't believe one to exist. And so if I don't believe one to exist, that means that I just live my life without thinking that a God either does or doesn't exist, or any, like, I just don't live my life with the idea that some kind of supernatural being is controlling everything. I actively believe that there's like nothing controlling anything except for just the fabric of reality operating in the ways that it does, right? So this is where he's kind of confusing the terms here, and I feel like this is going to poison his entire argument in this video, is this confusion between knowledge claims and belief claims.
Could they say this? It's very possible that they may learn something or may acquire some knowledge which leads them to the conclusion that there indeed is a creator. So at best, they are really just agnostic. There is no such thing as an atheist. Or let's be more specific, there is no such thing as a rational atheist.
I disagree. I feel like, given the evidence that we have, atheist is a rational position to take. But not because you think that it means that they're making the positive claim that no gods exist, because that's not the only. If you wanted to try to manipulate the meaning of atheism, or what it means to, or what that label means, if you wanted to manipulate it into a positive claim, the only positive claim that a person makes is a positive claim as to what they believe. And for an atheist, that would be the positive claim that they don't believe a God exists, right? And so this is where he's confusing knowledge and belief claims, because he's saying that atheism is really the positive assertion that God does not exist as a knowledge claim, like a positive assertion that they know God does not exist. But in reality, all atheism is just a belief position, and that's whether or not you believe one to exist. So it's a very nuanced position here, and I think that it would behoove all of these apologists out there to really take a second to realize that not all atheists out there are Gnostic or hard atheists, right? It's very important to really figure out what kind of atheist that you're dealing with, I guess, or you know, at what level, you know, are they what level do they mean their atheist label? Now, just to give you a little bit more nuance to add on top of this nuance, I would say that I am very Gnostic on the God of Abraham, or Yahweh, which would include both the Islamic God and the Judeo-Christian God, as well as Jews, obviously. I'm very Gnostic on those particular gods. So for this guy being a Muslim, I would say that I'm very Gnostic towards his particular definition of God. I know that definition of God does not exist. Just like I know that the Christian God definitely doesn't exist, because they're basically the same motherfucker up there, right? So I'm very Gnostic on those specific definitions of God, but I am agnostic when it comes to the general claim of a God, like a deistic kind of God, or just a God or supernatural existing in general that we don't know any fucking thing about. I'm very agnostic to that. I don't fucking know. I don't think that anybody will ever really know, but yeah, so that's my very multi-tiered position on God.
Atheist. You can say that there are emotional atheists, but from a rational perspective, the best they can say is, well, we don't know. They can be agnostic.
And again, you're talking about a pure agnostic kind of position. And I'm not going to diss anybody that identifies as a pure agnostic. I don't really see any value in that, because I know what I believe, right? So I wouldn't say that I'm pure agnostic. I would say that I'm an agnostic atheist.
Says, well, we don't know. They can be agnostic. And here's what's really interesting. How many times have you spoken to atheists, and you've asked them, well, okay, you say that there is no God, there is no creator. Have you actually looked at Revelation, you know, which we claim is from God? Have you actually studied it?
So you want me, you seriously want me to look at the revelation in the Quran and come to the conclusion that God exists? I mean, I didn't fucking believe Miss Cleo when she had her call-in show. I'm definitely not gonna believe some fuck back in, oh, what was it, the 1500s? When was the Quran written? Okay, so 700 AD. Let's see, when was Quran written? What was that? 610 to 632. Yeah, so 7th century CE. If I don't believe Miss Cleo, I'm definitely not going to believe some fuck in the 7th century claiming that an angel visited him and gave him this special knowledge, and then he wrote all this shit down about how he should fuck little kids. Like, I'm not going to seriously take that as evidence that your God is real. I don't believe that the quote-unquote prophecies in the New Testament are real. You obviously don't believe in the revelation of the New Testament. So I don't know why you think your particular revelation is better than this other particular revelation, which they're all just basically bullshit.
No, forget all of the knowledge that's out there. Go to this specific knowledge which is called revelation, in particular the Quran. Have you read the Quran?
I don't know if did you get a chance to read the Quran or look into Islam before coming to this debate?
Not a lot, I confess.
Okay.
I don't really think that you need to extensively investigate the Quran to know that it's bullshit. Okay? I think that you can definitely look at some of the claims made by the Quran to tell that it's bullshit. For one thing, the Quran stems off of the Old Testament that's already in the Bible. So if you're already a Christian, or if you already were a Christian and then became an atheist, the Islam's really not going to look all that much different, other than you got a different version of the same Judaism, right? So, if the Old Testament doesn't convince you, then I don't know why new bullshit written down by a 7th century guy is really going to make more sense to you. Unless you like that kind of misogynistic culture that a lot of Muslims like to implement nowadays. Not all Muslims, obviously. There's some very progressive parts of Islamic society, I guess, or Muslim communities. There's very progressive ones out there. But definitely one of the louder portions of the Muslim community are these fundamentalists that take the Quran literally, a lot like fundamentalist Christianity here in the United States. So, I mean, I still don't understand why you think that we have to extensively investigate Islam in order to reject its bad ideas. I mean, I know that there's one part in the Quran where apparently the moon splits in two, and another part, a horse with a human face turns around and says to Muhammad to get on its back. We're gonna fly to Mecca, and he does so in like 8 hours, from like a really, really far away. So, I mean, excuse me for not taking the same kind of bullshit just with a different flavor as being true.
Okay.
Have you studied the Quran? Have you looked into the proofs for the Quran? The proofs that establish it's from God? Have you looked into these things? And in most cases, they'll say no. And in some cases, they'll say, well, maybe I've read a little or looked into it. But seldom have I come across an atheist, and I can't even remember the last time this happened, that the atheist turned around and said to me that, yes, I've read the Quran cover to cover. I can't remember that the last time this happened.
Well, I mean, honestly, there are plenty of ex-Muslim atheists. They would have definitely read the Quran cover to cover. They're still an atheist. So you saying, I've never met an atheist, like, you're talking about an ex-Christian atheist is what I think that you're talking about. But again, I'll say that once you've been indoctrinated into one bullshit religion, you can after you've left that bullshit religion and you've given up, the religions in general, you can recognize the same kind of bullshit in another religion, right? So, I mean, I'm not going to say that all like atheists never, turn back to religion, because obviously that happens. I'm just saying that obviously he has not either talked to or met with a lot of atheists, or maybe he's just making this shit up because he really doesn't know and he wants to portray to his audience that atheists are just ignorant of Islam. Now, I will say that I have not read the Quran cover to cover, but Miss Cleo predictions and revelations are not going to convince me that God is real. You're going to have to come at me with some serious evidence that supports the existence of the supernatural before you even get to asking the question of whether or not a God exists.
Last time this happened. So then, how can they jump to the conclusion that there is no creator for a surety when they haven't even gone to a specific type of knowledge which directly links to the question of God and assessed it and evaluated it? Now,
Yeah, but you see, we've assessed comparable types of evidence, right? Like, we've assessed whether or not the New Testament prophecies or the Old Testament prophecies are legit, or if they prove that a God exists, right? I mean, you essentially have just another fuck that wrote down some shit and is expected to be taken seriously.
Now, some of the atheists may turn around and say, well, hold on a second, the same applies to you. You as Muslims don't have the totality of knowledge. You haven't looked into everything. So then how can you claim that there is a creator, there is a God? Here's how I would answer it in a very, very simple way.
Okay, I have to say, I have not watched this video fully, all the way through, okay? So I don't know what he's going to say right here, but I do want to try to make a prediction, okay? I am Miss Cleo. Thank you, honey. This is going to be proof of my divine nature right now. After this point, if I'm correct, you all can bow down and praise Godless Engineer for being the God of all reality, because I can predict exactly what this motherfucker is about to say. All right? And I'm going to tell you right after the super chat. Jane Pewsucker says, I got called an Aryan Christian in a Facebook group. The person said I would burn in hell for my belief. That's weird. Yeah, I don't think that you're going to burn in hell there, Jane. If hell were to exist, I mean, you're one of the most innocent people that I know. And I would say that if God sent you to hell, then we all deserve to go to hell. You know, so we're all going to be right there with you, Jane, if that were to be true. Huh? We'll have a hell party, guys. We'll be down there. All right, so what this guy is going to say, he's going to say some kind of variation of, well, I don't know everything in the universe. Like, I don't have all the knowledge. But I know somebody that does, and that's God. Jesus. He's a Muslim, honey. He believes Jesus was a prophet, not the son of God. He's gonna be like, well, I know God. God gave us the Quran. He came and he talked to Muhammad, and we've got this book that was directly inspired by God. And because of that, we know God, and God knows everything. So, sweaty people, lots of people have a book. Maybe that woman from the comment was talking about KC. You've been stalking bitches named Cynthia there, honey? All right, let's see what he has to say. I'm betting it's that God wrote the Quran or inspired the Quran, and therefore God has all of the knowledge. We got another super chat from Jesse Shodel, who says, go to heaven for the climate, go to hell for the company. Fucking right. Yeah, if you were to think about it realistically, heaven being in the sky and hell being near the center of the earth, yeah. I don't know about the temperatures there, honey. I don't think they had Fahrenheit or Celsius back then. I remember seeing a meme where an engineer kind of went in and was like, well, look, if you're going to go up there, you're going to be closer to the sun, which is way hotter than the center of the earth. I think so. All right, let's see if my prediction pans out. If so, all of the Skeptic Mafia members have to post my face in the chat because we have special emoticons. You guys should post my face, preferably the one eating chicken.
Simple way. You don't need to know everything. What we do is we go straight to the roots, the very things that link directly to the Creator. Let's go straight to Revelation. We look at Revelation. We assess Revelation. We look at the proofs of Revelation, what Revelation has to say about the Creator. Is it in line with our nature? Does it make sense rationally, intuitively, etc.? We also have the fitrah, our innate nature, which is an instinct. It sort of speaks to every human being, and there's this innate knowing which tells us that there is a Creator and that He deserves worship. So there's this innate beacon, an innate alarm, if you like, which helps us and directs us. Then obviously we also have what we refer to as the signs of God, which is the material world around us. How much time have the atheists spent in sitting there and just observing the things they learn about through science, pondering over them, how they came to be, why are they there? Science answers the how question, but it doesn't answer the why. How much time do they spend observing the why? And as Muslims, we are encouraged to spend time not only inquiring about the how, but also looking into the why.
You know what? I'm going to count this in my column. Here's why. I'm going to make my case, okay? He says that we should point to Revelation. We should look at Revelation and see if it makes sense in our world. Revelation could only come from God. So therefore, he's basically pointing to God, saying that God verifies God exists. And then, I mean, he adds on the whole idea of, well, we just have this innate sense about us that God exists and everything like that. I mean, that's just bullshit. That whole idea that we have this innate sense of God comes from not knowing shit and needing some kind of explanation for shit. And so therefore we come up with different explanations. And basically it's just a make shit up kind of situation. Saying that God is the reason for this and for that doesn't actually explain anything. But ultimately what he's getting at here is the fact that God gave them revelation and that verifies what they see in reality. So therefore God exists. I don't know if you guys can see how fucking circular this shit is. But God verifying that God exists is circular. It's so circular, it's a straight goddamn line going back and forth between nothing and it. Well, yeah, so it's like you got a central point, God. God's going to verify God, so it turns it around on itself and it makes it a literal circle. I need to drink more? Okay. I may need you to make me another cup then.
These things. I have a video on the signs of God, which I did a few weeks ago. Definitely check that out for more information on this. Next, we also have another part of the puzzle, which is guidance. Guidance which comes directly from God. We as Muslims believe that we have to be humble as human beings. It's not all about us. At the end of the day, although we have the fitrah, we have revelation, we have the signs of God, but at the end of the day, God guides whom He wills. So it's guidance that comes directly to the heart of man. So we focus, we don't need to know everything.
Oh shit. So yeah, basically, you see how he gets there? I mean, he gets to God in a roundabout way, but basically it all just, oh, well, definitely God exists because God verifies that He exists. I had Eric Hamion sent a super sticker saying, go, 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 go. I feel like one of those Spanish soccer announcers, you know? What there's a really funny one where he seems to say bear cum all the time, and it's hilarious. Mike Mick says, how can you humbly behead a teacher? That is a good fucking idea. Like, that's what kind of made me raise my eyebrows, because it's like, we're humble. We don't think it's all about us. No, you don't think that it's all about you, but you will definitely cut a motherfucker's head off if you think that they're being disrespectful to your God. It's like, don't you dare disrespect God's dick. It is large and veiny, and you should suck it now. Had to get that dick thing in there. Wacko in Seattle just puts a bunch of my faces with la. I feel like that's a remark against him being a Muslim. It's probably not. Wacko's fine. Don't jihad Wacko. So yeah, he ultimately just gets right back to God. Yeah. Anyways, all right.
So we don't need to know everything, but we focus on the main things we need to know. And these pieces of the puzzle come together in a very beautiful way, which lead to conviction that there is indeed a creator. So for the atheist, one of the things I'd like to say is, why not obviously you can't know about everything, no one can, right? But why not look at the things that directly link to the question of God? Why not look into the Quran, study the Quran, look at the proofs of revelation and see where that leads you. I leave you guys with this. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below.
Well, here's my thoughts there, Imran. Basically, I've heard revelation before out of the New Testament and the Old Testament. If it didn't work one time and it didn't work two times, why do you think third time's a charm in this particular instance? I'm gonna tell you that it doesn't. Okay, that yeah. What is it? Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on you. No.
Fool me once, shame on.
Fool me once, shame on me.
You. Fool me twice, shame on me.
Fool me twice, shame on me. Fool me a third time, drop me into hell.
I don't think that's the same.
Well, it's the saying now. Hey, look, I got Jack Daniels, guys. It's a 2-drink kind of night. We got Quentin Van Booben saying, let's help the IAA because we are shitty people. We are shitty people. Be the shittiest people that you can be by doing these super chats. And I really appreciate you guys doing these super chats. Because I'm sure IAA is gonna really appreciate our donation near the end of this month. So definitely do that. We are the shittiest. I should do a shirt that just says the shittiest person, and then it's got a bunch of dollar signs around it. It sounds like a golden idea right there. So yeah, if it didn't work 2 times on me, then the third time is definitely not going to be the charm there, Imram. I get that your particular religious book has revelations, but in reality, I mean, that's no better than Miss Cleo or your horoscope predictions in the local newspaper. Most of the time, at least in my experience, the prophecies or revelations in the Old Testament and the New Testament have all been so vague that they could refer to any particular point in time. Like, just for instance, with the revelations concerning the end of the world or the apocalypse, those have been used over and over again, especially in modern times, to suggest that we're near the end times. In fact, ever since Jesus supposedly said that he was going to be coming back soon, people have been pointing to earthquakes and famines and fucking locusts and shit and being like, look, it's the end of the world. And I'm sure that it seems like the end of the world to that individual person, but my guess is that it's not, because this shit happens. Natural shit happens. Earthquakes happen. Hurricanes happen. No amount of butt fucking is going to increase the frequency of hurricanes, okay? Just like no amount of butt fucking is going to increase the amount of diseases that run rampant. Well, I mean, if you butt fuck without proper protection, I mean, it could drive up certain diseases, I guess. But my point is to always use protection when you butt fuck or fuck in general, okay? This has been a public service announcement from your local GE. Public service announcements from GE. Use a condom when you butt fuck. What happens when you give me 2 drinks a night? All right, let's get back to the main camera here. There's the boom. All right. Never mind that. So tonight, what have we learned? Absolutely fucking nothing. Imran has not proven that his God exists. He's basically pointed us to his holy book that some 7th century fuck probably wrote. And he's suggesting that that is representative of a being that has all knowledge in the universe. And so we don't need the knowledge. We don't need that shit, guys. I don't know if you guys know this, but we don't need that shit. Okay? We don't need all the knowledge in the world. We just need the knowledge in the Quran. Like human-faced horses flying to Mecca, and the moon splitting in 2, and other weird fucking shit that's contained in the Quran. Definitely that. So if you guys are persuaded by Imran tonight, I'd love to hear what you thought about it down below. If you're a Muslim coming across this and thinking that this hick that's right here on camera saying citation fucking needed is just some kind of dipshit, I'd love to hear that in the comments as well. We got another super chat from Mike Mick who says, but equals friction equals heat equals global warming. Oh, God damn it. Honey, that is the reason for all of the global warming in the world. Butt fucking. There's just too much butt fucking going on that's causing too much friction going in and out and in and out of the assholes. And that's causing this place to heat up. Quit butt fucking, heathens. It's causing our planet to burn up. Sasha Campbell, who says, at least my proof for Santa results in presents. What's IAA? IAA is the International Association of Atheists. They help people that are in trouble in nations that want to kill atheists. They are atheists in nations that hate atheists. Like,
They also do blasphemy help, legal help for blasphemy. Secular education all over the world.
Secular education all over the world. Yeah, because earlier this year, we actually worked with the IAA and we put 16 Congolese kids through school for the entire year in a secular school. That includes housing, clothing, food, all that kind of good shit. So they do a lot of good shit around the world. So, yeah, I'm not really convinced by Imran. If you guys are, let me know. But if not, then we're going to get to the Skeptic Mafia comments. A super chat just came in, and I was thinking that at the same time. Yep, Drew, it's not the whiskey. Drew's book review says, isn't it amazing how all the same kinds of natural disasters Revelations prophesized happen in the same areas they always have since before the Bible? Right? It's fucking weird how that works out. It's like the people that live in Tornado Alley are always surprised when a tornado takes out their trailer.
I mean, we live in tornado area. We're getting a shelter.
Well, yeah, we're getting a shelter, but if a tornado comes through here, we're not going to get out there with like half of our underwear on and like a titty showing and being like, we never knew it was coming. You live in the direct path of it, motherfucker. Well, I mean, that's when people are interviewing you, you know, for like the news and shit.
Oh, yeah.
They always get the hickiest people to do it. Hey, you over there, you look like you've got about 3 teeth and about an IQ of 40. Get over here. We need to interview your ass. Anyways, Elizabeth Richardson says, yes, we are surprised. No hate to people that live in Tornado Alley. I'm just talking about the people that get on camera and is like surprised that a tornado came through Tornado Alley. I'm very specific to those kinds of people. Quentin Van Booben says, GE just reminded me of Robin Williams a bit. Oh man, that I always get sad when I think of Robin Williams, but also we watched Miss Doubtfire today. This is pretty awesome. Anyways, so we're going to be getting to the Skeptic Mafia comments. If you guys are leaving out right now, I really appreciate all of you guys watching. Please, leave a like, subscribe if this is your first time here. Trust me, I'm not drunk like this all the time, okay? But I'm not drunk. I'm not tipsy like this all the time, okay? So if you want to subscribe, leave a like, leave me a comment. I'd love to see all. I may not respond to every comment, but I definitely do look through the comments and I read them. So, who? Dave Lee? Hell, a drunk in a Hyundai can take out a trailer. How do you know this, Dave? Do you know by personal experience? Anyways. Mike M says, I swear I'm not drunk. Anyways, we're going to go to the Skeptic Mafia comments. If you're leaving out, I hope that you guys have a lovely weekend. Don't forget to stand up, use your voice, all that kind of good shit. And we'll see you later, heathens. Bye, guys. But don't go because we're getting to the Skeptic Mafia comments. I gotta actually pull them up. Okay. Last time I checked, there was 13. Honey, do you mind going through and seeing if there was any caught by the spam filter? Thank you. All right. So let me actually sort this motherfucker. Boom. Hellbound Hillbilly. This Yahoo's tale of atheists he's encountered makes me think that if I were to browse the rest of his channel, I'd find that his straw man without a brain has a friend with a heart and another buddy who's too scared to talk about his reasons for disbelief. At least we've got GE here reminding us not to be afraid to stand up and use our voices. So why not go ahead and snack that like button and subscribe, trying that bell so you can get more content like this, and go ahead and join us in the Skeptic Mafia and enjoy all them perks. Normally we have a Mafia podcast every single week. It's been a little sporadic lately just because of like this past weekend we had Xander. So we didn't really have time to get it recorded. Plus we got work and Xander's got school and all this other shit. So plus I got to record at least 2 videos a week. So I don't know. We got a Mafia podcast that goes up, and I've got one recorded that I need to get up here soon because we're going to be having another one on Tuesday. So Mafia podcast, it's pretty awesome. We look at dumb fucking videos all day. So if you want to come and watch, please do. Mike, you couldn't find any? Okay, good. Michael W. Roble. Theism is an irrational belief that has never been backed by any empirical evidence in the history of this universe. How and why are just simple questions that have come naturally to the human mind, and it is only the unimaginative and intellectually weak who answer with, God did it. Since there is no evidence for your God or his imaginary deeds or realm, I guess that makes theism a myth, an illusion. On a different note, rest in peace, James Randi. I agree. I didn't really get to put out anything on Twitter because I've kind of been staying off Twitter here lately. But James Randi is a pretty big loss for the community in general, just humanity in general, because James Randi, he was a pretty awesome guy. I didn't know him personally, but I've seen plenty of things about him with him in it, and plenty of the things that he said. We're definitely at a loss not having him in the world. So Michael goes on with, a master debunker most famous for humiliating fake pop psychic Uri Geller on The Tonight Show, pretty much ending Geller's career. Woo! I will say that James Randi has got to have like killed a few careers in his lifetime, just for the fact that people just can't pull one over on him. More recently, he was approached by Saitan Bruggencate, and after listening to about 2 minutes of Sai's spiel, looked at him and said, "This is stupid," and walked away, leaving wide-eyed Sai slack-jawed and bewildered. Oh, that is so awesome to hear. I wonder if that's up on YouTube anywhere. I gotta go and see if I can find that. That's awesome. Thank you, Michael, for your comment. Thank you, Hellbound Hillbilly, for your comment. Oh, hey, Skeptic Mafia fam. If you guys don't know, we're going to be having a Skeptic Mafia hangout tomorrow, so definitely join. Tomorrow afternoon, we're going to be talking bullshit and everything like that. So definitely make sure that you're there for that. 3 p.m. Central, Saturday. Quentin Van Boeven. I feel like there is a bit of a straw man here with how he wants to define an atheist. It seems he wants to mean a person who knows there is no God and not just a person who does not believe in a God. Now, GE, please insert 1 shilling here. 1 shilling. If you join at the shill level, you get all of those icons that you see people post, all of the emojis that people post in there. I'm going to be removing a couple here soon and probably putting in a couple more new ones. So if you want access to those, you'll definitely have to join the Skeptic Mafia. Huh? Yes. I would never dream of taking your face off unless it was just putting another one of you on there. Gary White. Oh, good. An absolute moron explaining that atheism is an illusion. And can't even wait to see what he says about it, and for GE to absolutely rip him a new one. And seems to me that he doesn't have the force in him. There, I said it. That Star Wars is way better than Star Trek. And hit it, GE. Fuck. Gary. She just said Gary like she says Karen. So, yes. So, hit it, GE. Definitely join the Skeptic Mafia or send a super chat to help a charity out this month. It's IAA. So, yeah, do that. Do that shit. Then we got Jane Pusecker, who says, this guy clearly misses the boat when it comes to understanding atheists. First off, he tries to imply atheists want to know how and not why. This is completely false for him to say. For him to assume atheists don't care about why is just completely absurd. Secondly, just because atheists may know how and not why isn't going to make them fall back into religious beliefs to find the answer. There may never be an answer to why, and that's okay. I'm glad that you recognize that there, Jane. Religion, at the very least, offers a why in a philosophical and spiritual way, not a scientific way. Also, I find it very interesting that he believes that there is no such thing as atheism, and he clearly doesn't understand that it's a lack of belief in God without solid evidence. I would agree. It's definitely a non-belief, or lack of belief, as some people like to phrase it, and unless you can provide solid evidence that a God exists, then we're probably not going to believe you. Now, saying that Jane is a theist, she is a Christian, and I don't hold anything against Jane for being a Christian. I think Jane is one of the sweetest people that exists out there, and I would not dare to call her anything for having a different opinion than me, and that's essentially what all this comes down to. It's just different opinions. People are always going to have different opinions. Opinions are like assholes. Everybody has their own, hopefully. Also, for all the new people tonight, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe button where you get monthly hangouts, cool emojis, and get to be part of the Skeptic Mafia. And to get to know Bro Cephas. And as always, don't forget to stand up and use your voice. That's so important, guys. Definitely do that. Also, go out and vote. That was a little random, but you know my sentiment here. Fucking go vote. Damn, that first one was pretty extra tonight. Oh shit! This one's extra too. Another half and half. Not quite, but close. Okay. Sean Quitten's in the super chat, so I'm gonna have to get that here in a second. Sean Jake says, it's his claim that God exists. It is on him to prove his God exists. I am not making a claim that his God exists or does not exist. I've never read the Bible cover to cover, read the Quran cover to cover, read ancient myths or modern myths. All of these stories are inconsistent with reality and are morally inferior. If you guys want to experience, not just read, but experience the Bible from cover to cover, tune into our daily Bible podcast that posts every Tuesday. That's right after the normally the Skeptic Mafia podcast posts. So yeah, we're actually in the process of reading it from cover to cover, but it's more of an experience. Trust me, you'll understand it after the first time you listen to it. Instead, these stories are consistent with the culture and time they were written in and are not consistent with an all-knowing supernatural entity. His God of the Gaps argument is a logical fallacy. I'm glad somebody else recognized that, Sean. That's awesome. I'm glad I'm not alone. His feelings and interpretations of his surroundings to be from his God is not good evidence. Someone can have feelings about the truth of something that is not actually true. Someone can believe something is true because someone told them it is true, but that does not make it true or not true. Finally, his Gish-Gallop argumentation is another logical fallacy. It does not prove or disprove his truth claim. Someday, maybe we will see a new argument from them. I disagree. I think all of the arguments have been explored. I think the only arguments that could possibly pop up in the future are only going to be monumentally worse than the arguments that we have now. Which, to be fair, those arguments are actually all stem from Aquinas' 5 ways. So in fact, there has not been a new development in apologetics since Thomas Aquinas, which was in... I don't know. Hold on. When did Thomas Aquinas live? 13th century. He lived from 1225 to March 7th, 1224 when he bit the dust. So that was savage, I know, honey, but you know, he's the father of modern apologetics, all of apologetics. So I think that savagery is needed. I'm saying that without him, we would have a different kind of SJ. Alex Baranowski. They start off with, what the fuck? Atheism is not a belief, nor is it the claim that there is no God. Why must we give a good reason for not accepting atheist baseless claims? I love how he conflates a God with a creator. I'm not sure what he defines as a creator. I think that what he would mean, just like all apologists mean, is the creator of the universe. The person that can just, or the thing rather, that can just create everything all willy-nilly and shit. I think that's probably what he means. He is pretty good at drawing circles, I will say. Yeah, he's a pretty decent circle drawer, although I do feel like he probably practiced this a number of times, because I don't know if you remember seeing it in the very beginning of the video, but he was like waving his hand, and his hand was like all green and shit from like erasing stuff with his like fingers. So I don't know. He is a pretty decent circle drawer. I don't think theism is any more rational than atheism. Maybe neither are truly rational, but theism is certainly not more rational. The Quran doesn't prove a God's existence. It is simply a claim. I agree there, Alex. As for why to the universe, say it with me. There doesn't have to be a why, and there is no evidence for a why. That's true. Why the universe kind of implies that there's some kind of purpose, right, behind the universe. And I don't believe that there's a purpose behind the universe. I think the universe just is. It just happened. Just like there's no purpose in the rain falling, or there's no purpose in lightning striking. There's no real ultimate purpose behind it. Like, we know why it happens, but what he's really getting at here is like a purpose to the universe. Also, why is an all-powerful and unlimited God limiting themselves to a book? You know, that has been a major question that has not been able to be answered. Other than the fact that he revealed himself to humans, which I guess maybe that's the only way that we could communicate, at least, you know, through time. As far as like writing down on a book and then the book survives for however long we maintain it. My brain hurts. That's why lubricant is needed. It softens the blows. What isn't limiting or painful is joining the skeptic mafia. I could not agree more. I won't do the rest of the show because you folks will probably hear it about a dozen other times by the time GE gets my comment. Don't forget to wash your hands and cover up your ugly ass noses and mouths with a mask. Jesus Christ. Actually, I had them. Oh, there it is. We've actually got masks at our Teespring store. That it'll cover up your whole face. And if you're in front of a green screen, it'll even hide some of it. It's really good, especially if you like stretch it out and you get it all over your face, which is really, if you've got a beard, these masks are actually really good. Vice Rhino also has a mask that he sells in his store, but I feel like my design's maybe a little bit better. No offense there, Vice Rhino, in case you ever watch this, which you probably won't. But if you stretch it out, then you won't be eating the mask. But if like you have it all scrunched up and shit, then it's like, yeah, you could still stretch it out all over your face, though. It'll just cover like half of your throat. I'm just saying, these are good masks. I'm glad that we bought ours. Thank you, Alex, for your comment. Drew's Book Reviews wrote a novel for this one. No, sorry, Drew. I didn't mean to shit on it. I always love your comments there, man. Well, I am going to wait till tonight's live stream to see what the vid has to say. But one thing I do know, at least based on my current understanding, Justin Davis sent a super chat, so I'll get to that here in a minute, is that on a quantum particle level, particles don't really exist till we can observe and measure them. Okay, I know. That is seriously simplified view of a more complex issue, but quantum physics is just too weird to explain in one comment. So, utilizing the principles of quantum particle physics, God does not and cannot exist until God is observed and measured, which has not yet happened. Well, this guy would disagree because he would consider revelation to be like the evidence, the observation of God, I guess, maybe. I don't know. By that same principle, my atheism, that of the Skeptic Mafia, and that of the Skeptic Mafia, which you can join by hitting that join button, exists upon our observation and measurement of it. So in that sense, everything exists as an illusion created out of an observation of the illusion. So we observed a non-existent illusion into existence via our own illusions. Hey, but I'm drunk and I said it correctly. I know, right? I'm better drunk, I think. Okay, I've got to stop now. I'm giving myself a headache trying to comprehend something that is both true and not true at the same time. It's like saying both Star Trek and Star Wars are both simultaneously better than the other and worse than the other at the same time. What? Drew. He's true. I really need to keep on reading so I can learn more about this. You should too, or not, or maybe you are and not. God help me or don't help me. I don't know anymore. Is anything unreally real? Okay, I have to stop now. This is getting too much. I need to retain my sanity for when I stop by the pigsty next week on Math Pig's channel. Anyway, heathen, see you all next week. Drew's going to be on Math Pig's channel next week. I will definitely share that on the community tab when they are about to go live, so definitely check that out. Math Pig's in the comments. Y'all go and subscribe to Math Pig. I saw almost a doctor in here earlier too. I had a premiere of him earlier. Me and him actually got to sit down and talk about flat Earth stuff. So definitely go. If you haven't seen today's video, go and check it out. Dave Lee said, I posted this comment on Imran's page. You started off by flipping the burden of proof onto those like myself who don't believe in gods. I don't believe in any gods because I have not seen proofs for such existence. You then started stacking your claims like a straw man Jenga game, stating atheists don't know this, haven't read that, etc. Then you started asserting your proofs, as you call them, by figuratively pointing to your religious book and also stating that your God reaches out to you and to others. Your book is not proof of anything, just as the Christian book is not proof of anything. The book of the parent religion of Islam and Christianity, Judaism, is also not proof of anything except that those books were written and exist. Boom, Imran, getting served by Dave here. Sweatshirt analogy. Oh, that's the next part, sweatshirt analogy, but I just had to take another drink. If you tell me your God exists and you can prove it, I will liken your claim to telling me that you have a green sweatshirt in the trunk of your car. Why would you tell me hundreds of years worth of stories about your green sweatshirt? Please open the trunk of your car and show me that you have a green sweatshirt. That would be undeniable proof of your green sweatshirt. This is what I want you to do regarding your God. I don't believe any God exists because no one can show me a God like you can show me a sweatshirt. That's a good point there, Dave. God is a sweatshirt. Show it. Word salad, which you are very good at, is not proof of anything. Though it does appear to be useful for feeding vague specks of delusion to the already indoctrinated. You are very good at talking word salad, Imran. Word salad would never equate to evidence/proof. Please show me your God. Extra points if he's wearing a green sweatshirt. Happy Friday, Dave out! Thank you, Dave. I appreciate your comment there, bud. Oh, my eye itches. Daniel M. Didn't Frank Turk do this one? Probably. I mean, Imran's just a general apologist, which, Frank would also be a general apologist, so I would definitely expect Frank to make these exact same arguments. I do identify as an agnostic atheist. Hey, bro! Me too there, bud. When I first realized I didn't believe I was a Gnostic, I realized through the help of GE and his channel that I'm not being fair to the conversation if I say that God absolutely doesn't exist because we cannot know that for absolute certain. This argument actually means nothing to me because the opposite could be true. In that whole vast of knowledge that the human race does not know, how can anyone say for certain that there is a God or gods? Fun fact about me, when I first realized that I did not believe, I was afraid to identify as atheist because of the stigma religion put on that term. It was when I found John's channel that I realized there is no harm in identifying as atheist, and in fact, it helps to quiet the prejudices against it. When my wife was in the hospital, I was outed to everyone I haven't told yet by my in-laws. They thought they were going to get my side of the family bitching at me for it, but they did me a favor. Thank you, in-laws. Thank you, John and Casey. You are awesome. Thank you, Daniel M. I really appreciate your friendship, man. I haven't talked to you like on the phone in a while, so I'll definitely try to give you a call tomorrow. I'll set an alarm or something because I'm quite forgetful, and that's not on purpose. But yeah, man, I'm right there with you. I'm glad that I've been able to help you out as well as other people in the community. So yeah, more power to you there, Daniel. Urban imposter. The thumbnail alone already summarized his argument. I would like to thank the other individuals that I guess already watched the video, preventing me from losing brain cells over this age-old debunked argument. Yeah, I always find it interesting when they put out these short videos like this because it's almost never anything that we've ever, it's almost nothing new. Like it's always something that we've always heard in the past. The Rune Warrior. This argument? Most atheists don't say there is no God. We just don't see any evidence of the existence of God. That is an agnostic stance. Atheism is a lack of belief in a God, not an assertion that there isn't a God. There are Gnostic atheists out there, but most atheists will not take that stance. Again, you apologists either don't understand us or refuse to, and intentionally change the meanings of words to suit your own conclusions. We don't have to provide evidence that God doesn't exist. You are the one making the positive claim. You must provide evidence that God exists, something that you still have never been able to do to this day. I left the same comment on his video. Maybe it would help him understand. Probably not. These type of people, like meaning fundamentalist apologist type people, they never learn. Like, I feel like it's ultimately just a difference of opinion. But at the same time, like when you sit there and you tell somebody that, no, you're wrong, this is wrong, and you tell that to them multiple times, it kind of just feels like they want to hold to their original opinion instead of listening to other people, because he's not necessarily describing, I was going to say facts or something, because these are opinions of people, and knowing exactly what the vast majority of atheists' opinions are on the subject of whether or not God exists, I would think would make a difference in how you actually viewed the topic. But for a lot of people, it doesn't. So, Jonathan Nickel. The only difference between his drawing and Josh Feuerstein's is that Feuerstein drew a circle and this guy drew squares within squares. They both speak the same voice, though. I didn't think about Feuerstein until your comment here, but yes, this is a Josh Feuerstein kind of argument. Good on you for pointing that out. They both assert that because we don't know everything, you can't dismiss God. That is shifting the burden of proof. It is not up to us to disprove or deny God. It is up to these people to prove their case. His entire argument can be overturned with Hitchens' razor, which, in case you guys don't know, Hitchens' razor is that that which can be asserted without evidence can be easily dismissed without evidence. That's paraphrased. That's basically what it means. It is worse than that for him, though, for if his God is in the space, which includes that what we don't know, then he doesn't know that his God exists either. After that, he tries to push people towards the Quran. These 4 points can be described as the book, personal feelings, look at the trees, and God says so. Christians make the same claims. The only difference between Christians and Muslims is the book they use. What makes his book any better? That was kind of my point the entire time. Like, if, Christians and the Jews, they all have the exact same kind of arguments as this guy does. But this guy wants to act like his arguments are special. They're not. Yeah. Casey said, yeah, you bitch. As for why, there may not be a why. Why does the universe require a purpose? God wills it does not qualify as an answer, especially when it leads directly to yet another why. Exactly. The explanation of God is not an explanation at all. Trickster! Has this guy truly spoken to atheists? Probably not. I would bet the answer would be no. Otherwise, he would know that he is wrong about what atheists believe, or don't believe to be more accurate. The bulk of what atheists say, I do not believe in what you are selling. Sorry. I have not read the Quran, but being as the Quran and the Bible, which I have read, both ask us to worship a monster that can't even follow its own morality. He ends by saying, you don't need to know everything. That should not stop you from learning as much as you can so you can make informed decisions. Like, subscribe, and share. Want to be part of something special? Slip a $5 in GE's pocket and become a skeptic mafioso, and GE will give you some really cool stuff to thank you. He'll let you watch Friday's videos and drop a comment that GE will read on the air for all to hear. That's right, you too can be a star. GE and KC will treat you to a podcast on Tuesdays only for the Skeptic Mafia. You also get a cool badge that lets people know you're part of something special. And if you're a really good, GE may let you play with this 15-foot whale penis emoji. Everybody out there, stand up and use your voice, wear your mask, and wash your dag-burned hands. Wash them and wear that fucking mask. I don't care what Trump says. Wear it. Cadence. He is either completely ignorant in the definition of the word atheist or purposefully and dishonestly strawmanning it. Either way, the only illusion here is that he thinks he has a solid point. Burn, Imran. What you got to say about it? Vanta Blue says, wait, saying something doesn't exist is a positive claim? He's got some things the wrong way around, it seems. And when he gets asked for proofs on his viewpoint, he has a trump card because Allah! All the knowledge we should bother with, essentially, is outside the material world. So it's not possible to fact check. Some of it is even outside his square for all the knowledge that can exist. Because we're not supposed to understand a higher being. Just listen blindly. It would be nice to see his humbleness as he touts being a way of life for more people, Muslim or not. I agree there, Vanta. And then finally, we got Christopher and Dave coming in with an ASCII. Wait, I've heard this argument before. This is just a Muslim version of Joshua Moronstein's argument. Hey, another person got the Joshua Fierstein. I didn't even make the Fierstein connection. It's just that this guy has squares. Which was just parroted off someone else. I forgot who, but still, it's an old argument that they think is some kind of gotcha question. But really, honestly, it's stupid as fuck. When will they stop with the same sad, overused arguments? All right, never. Such is life, I guess. And now from some ASCII. Sorry for reusing the same old ones. I've just been uninspired lately. Oh, well. Shut the fuck up, truck. Here, Imran, we've delivered some shut the fuck up directly from Amazon. Shipped Prime. Shut the fuck up right now. Because, well, they really need to take a nice long ride on the shut the fuck up truck. All that being said, go ahead and give that like button a big sloppy lick, subscribe, and if you want to go ahead and join the Skeptic Mafia, it's a good way of showing G how much you appreciate him. Plus, you can get him to say things like, there is a structured tier list to science fiction shows. Babylon 5 being at the top, followed by Star Trek, then Battlestar Galactica, then Stargate, Dune, with Star Wars at the very bottom. Keep in note, none of them are bad. In fact, they're all great. But it had to be said. You know what? I don't need your shit. Sorry there, Chrismer. I don't know. I feel like this list is a little bit wrong. So I would definitely put Stargate at the top, Galactica next, and then I'd probably have to go with Star Wars, then Star Trek, and then Dune. Mainly because I haven't seen Dune. I should probably see it, but I haven't yet. So that's why it's at the bottom. Star Trek is a really good series, and if I could give Star Trek and Star Wars are kind of on the same level for me, except Star Wars has more magic. Star Trek is more realistic. So I mean, it's really hard to compare those on an even plane. Stargate is by far the best though, and that's followed up by Battlestar Galactica, the newest version. Which I don't know, some people might have a problem with me saying that. I don't know. That's it for the show tonight, guys. I'm totally drunk, and I'm probably going to go play some Metal Gear Solid 5. And I guess that I will see you guys later. We've got Justin Davis, who sent that super chat a little while ago saying, how do you feel about agnostic individuals? Well, like I said during the actual show, I don't have a problem with agnostic individuals. I don't have a problem with pure agnostic as a position. I feel like if you cannot say that you believe in a God, then it's a purely dichotomous position in that you either believe in God or you don't believe in God. So I don't know, maybe that's kind of a false dichotomy, because I guess you could not know what you believe as far as that goes. But I know definitely the religious crowd takes it as a purely dichotomous position. And I would say that it's as dichotomous as you could probably get, at least for me. So, but I don't fault anybody that considers themselves a pure agnostic. I mean, I have friends that are pure agnostic, like Skylar Fiction and Dr. Josh Bowen. They're both, as far as I know, they're purely agnostic. So I'm definitely not shitting on the purely agnostic position. And then, did Quentin send another super chat? I think so. I think my little notification thing's getting caught up. It says, just remembered, forgot to make GE say Star Trek is far superior to Star Wars. Ah, damn it, not again. Okay, yeah, my shit's still getting caught up because there's Justin Davis. Thank you so much, Justin, Quentin, and Sasha, Mike, Mick, Drew's Book Reviews, as well as Sean J. and Jesse Shodel and Uhan Roderick. Thank you all for your super chats tonight. You guys are awesome. We're about to be leaving out. If you got any questions for me in the side chat, you can tag me real quick. I have maybe a couple minutes where I could answer some things. So if you want to ask me anything, feel free. Q and fucking A. Right. I found I can drink Jack Apple Fizz. Is that what you said, hon? Oh, you can drink Jack Apple. RJM Truth says, which is agnostics are just atheists that don't want to be called an atheist, which is okay. Maybe. I mean, I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and trash talk pure agnostics just because, I mean, I feel like we're kind of on the same team, being that we're not religious. MathPig says, do you know of a quiet corner I can hide in, GE? I don't really think asking me about a quiet corner is really the best place to ask for it. I'm a pretty loud motherfucker, to be quite honest. I'm not sure, man. I wish I could help you out with that. Jeffrey Dahmer, okay, asked, do you believe in aliens? That's really general for that particular topic. So I think that aliens, like as far as we would consider aliens to be aliens, they do exist. I don't think that they've actually visited our planet though. Just because of the fact that life happened here, that means that it most likely also happened in another area of the universe. they most likely do exist. So that's kind of my position. Daniel M says, Godless Engineer, I felt it was shitty for my wife's mom to out me to my family, namely my brother, but they actually helped me. Yeah, that is kind of shitty, but I'm glad that you kind of found the silver lining in that there, Daniel. Gary White says, when are you going to play Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, Godless Engineer? You know, I don't know. I could play some video games tomorrow. We kind of got a full day, plus I got to record, so I'm not exactly sure. We'll just have to see. We know where stool's been. It's not clean. Want a bizarre book to read? Read the Urantia book. Okay. Is interesting. You know, Richard Carrier put out a new book. It's called Jesus from Space. I actually got it in today. It has pretty cool cover to it. Matt Pig says, don't ask about stool. Unclean, must wash, from Vanta. All right, heathens. Well, I've actually got to go. I'm gonna go and play some Metal Gear Solid probably. So I will talk to you guys later. Don't forget to stand up, use your voice. Skeptic Mafia, we've got a meetup tomorrow at 3 p.m. Central, so definitely be watching the community tab for that. If you're in the Discord, I will also post it in the Discord. So be watching out for all of that shit, and I will see you heathens later. Don't forget to stand up and use your voice. Bye, heathens.